All right, you and I are diving into a story about a kid seeing the unseen. Hunters must clear dungeons before they burst, or monsters will pour out and feast on humanity. Claude is low level, but he's always diving into the deadliest dungeons to get stronger and save lives. One day, he'll reach the absolute peak. This current party isn't strong, but it should be enough. Or so he thought. Inside the subway, Claude realized something was totally wrong. When the monsters appeared, the leader charged first, but the others just panicked. They were total amateurs. The healer was too far and the tank was reckless. He ignored the mages entirely. Suddenly, a sneak attack aimed for our hero. Claude knew this place was weird, and this team, something was deeply off. Pay attention here, because we're about to see their leader's real face. Turns out the plan was simple. Everyone in this party was meant to die. The hunters were furious, ready to go down fighting, but Claude saved them. He blocked a fatal blow. The party's mage felt it, that pure, icy terror. Death was inches away, and she just froze. That's when Claude took command. He started barking orders, directing the girl and the rest of the crew. Once the monsters fell, the team turned their pure rage on the leader. Why would he try to kill them? Then, the terrifying truth finally surfaced. Their leader was possessed by a demon. These monsters feed on human negativity. They grow stronger through despair. The team had never seen such a nightmare. Only Claude understood the danger. A demon uses your own fears to break you. It destroys you from inside, and their leader, he was the most vulnerable. Everyone was about to die, but Claude, for some reason, didn't feel fear. He stayed calm and attacked the demon with everything he had. The creature just laughed. "Don't you care about the human body I'm using?" Thinking Claude would hesitate, the demon left itself wide open for a strike. Big mistake. Claude didn't hold back at all. He attacked with zero doubt. You saw that, right? For the first time, the demon felt real fear. Humans shouldn't be this cold-blooded, but there was a reason Namchal men broke. It was his younger brother. The man wasn't evil, just living in shadows. He's a great brother and one of the strongest hunters in the world. But people always compared them, judging the older brother for being the weaker. The demon taunted him again. "To kill me, you'll have to kill this man." Claude didn't blink. The demon felt the pain rippling through its stolen host. The monster screamed in agony, "You're the real cruel demon in this room." But those words meant nothing. Claude saw what nobody else in the room could. Despite the resentment in Namchal Men's heart, his pride was just as powerful. He was willing to die to save his team. Claude respected that will. He struck. One final blow sent the demon's head spinning through the air. But luck was on Nam Kai Min's side. Claude has a special hidden ability. He can strike a spiritual body without hurting the physical host at all. When the leader woke up, he was certain his life was finally over. His teammates saw the truth. They were just happy to have him back. Shaking with adrenaline, Namchal men couldn't believe he was actually still alive. And trust me, you and I just witnessed a legend in the making. Stick with me, you and I are meeting the world's most broke demon hunter. He just congratulated Nam Chimin for his guts. It was a massive moment. Chimin had never been praised by anyone, except for his own older brother. It felt strange, but what was weirder was this guy pointing out a fact. Demons drop zero loot. That is exactly why this hunter is totally penniless. The reason for this mess started long ago. One day, Li Hoi woke up. He was no longer in control. His body now belonged to Granfell Claude. That was his character from an old game he used to play daily. Years ago, a famous virtual reality game was released. It was incredible. In this game, you could be a legendary badass like Sun Jinwoo. Now watch this. Here is where reality and fiction collided in pure chaos. People suddenly received the exact same powers as their virtual game characters. With these new abilities, they were able to fight the monsters on Earth. Sadly for Li Hoi, he was poor and barely played at all. His character was weak. Plus, Claude's personality was impossible to control. If a superior treated him badly, he would fire back with attitude. Time passed. The world got dangerous and powerful players became famous stars. But he was stuck with a horrible class, a demon hunter. It was the worst class for leveling. the only plus, killing demons. But back in the game, demon-type monsters were extremely rare finds. Fast forward to the present, Chimin returns home safe and sound at last. Back in the present, Chimin returns home safe and shows his brother a viral report. Taman is shocked. He says he cannot believe a guild leader was so foolish. You and I know the truth, but Taman is about to get blindsided. Chimin claims that he is actually the person described in that viral article. This revelation shocks Taman so much, he spills hot coffee all over the table. Still at home, Taman questions his brother about his strange new goals. He cannot believe Chimin wants to stop being a player for Gon. Taman finds it hard to believe, because his brother always hated the idea. Chimin insists he is serious. Faced with this distrust, Taman feels worried. He asks if his brother is joking, but Chimin stands his ground. He explains he finally saw his own weakness and his real purpose. He is choosing his own path instead of staying in his brother's shadow. Taman now wants to meet the person who changed Chimin's mind so completely. Intrigued, Taman expresses a desire. He wants to meet whoever changed Chimin's mind so completely and suddenly. Taman reflects that this person handled a demon without showing any fear. He ignored the mental status, which suggests an absolutely incredible mindset. He remembers his brother mentioning the player used a dagger during combat. He did not use magic, making it very hard to determine his class. With that much skill, Taman wonders why he chose that specific zone. Chimin acknowledges that his story sounds totally unbelievable right now. To Chimin's surprise, his brother says he believes him without any doubt. Trust me, this brotherly bond is the real superpower of this story. He admits he only got this far today thanks to his brother's help. All right, let's dive into a world where a game persona starts bleeding into real life. Taman announces that Chelman is his brother and a high-ranking analyst for their massive guild. Feeling a bit shy, Chelman thanks him, while Taman pushes the new contract his way. He flips through the pages, and Chelman's eyes nearly pop out of his head. He is absolutely stunned, asking if these crazy terms are actually for real. Meanwhile, our hero, Lee Hoyal, sees he jumped 20 levels after crushing that demon. His internal Granfell ego is indifferent, but Hoyal is ecstatic about those bonus points. He is basically doing a victory dance while planning his new stat build. After a quick shower, he plans to just crash and deal with life tomorrow. But Granfell's perfectionist side takes control, disgusted by the mess in the apartment. Believing a clean room leads to a sharp mind, he starts scrubbing every surface. By sunset, he finishes cleaning and whips up a surprisingly healthy dinner. Taking a bite, he notices the meal is incredibly balanced and light. He realizes Granfell was always obsessed with strict routines and total self-discipline. Now, pay attention here. This is where the game mechanics get seriously real. Every single trait he gave his character is literally reshaping his physical life. Before this, Hoyal would have just ordered takeout and ignored the dirty laundry. But through Granfell's eyes, his habits have become much more refined and healthy. He realizes Granfell is far from lacking in the talent department. In fact, the character is a magic prodigy who can copy enchantments instantly. High intelligence, peak health, this character basically has the ultimate build. Checking off all these perks, he decides that having these traits is amazing. If these skills are becoming his reality, then he is set for life. Ready to test his theory, he grabs his phone and sees a wall of text. It is a massive message from Chelman, but Hoyal just ignores it for now. His only mission is to see just how much power he actually has. Not knowing where to start, he looks up magic enchantments to try copying. Let's shift gears and check back in with the shocked Nam brothers. They can't believe our main character just flat out rejected their golden offer. Chelman wonders if another powerful guild already snatched him up before they could. But Taman is confident that no one in Korea can beat their massive deal. They offered a house, a car, and a 95% profit split. It is insane. He finds it hard to believe anyone else could possibly top that. Chelman mentions that foreign guilds have been flooding into Korea lately. Since the best organizations are based in the capital, competition is getting fierce. Furious, Tamon screams that they cannot let another guild take this guy. He refuses to accept that someone else could offer more than he did. He gets ready to hunt him down, asking what the protagonist looks like. He is desperate to recruit him and wants every detail to make the pitch. He needs to know exactly who he is dealing with to close the deal. Chelman thinks back and describes him as having a very unique vibe. He looks like a high-class noble from a fantasy novel, dressed in perfect style. Back at the house, Hoyal is still deep into his magic research. In no time, he cracks the code on how mana and magic work. And trust me, you and I are about to see him break the world. Stick with me, you're about to see how being a genius changes everything. Granfell's magic is real now, so he figures it's time to spend those skill points. Unsure of the character's full potential, he keeps every single option open for now. He plays it smart. First, he drops 2 points into his stamina and agility. 7 points go straight to mana. Then, Li Hoi remembers that tragic backstory. Why is that sad memory appearing now? He doesn't get it, but he continues. He decides to put 1 point into luck, thinking it's for his own survival. Since Granfell has to work insanely hard, a little extra luck can't hurt, right? Even a single point makes a difference. His luck stat literally just doubled today. He jokes that maybe he'll find a coin tomorrow, but the reality, much crazier. Now pay attention, because when he wakes up, his whole world completely flips. Instead of spare change, he's got a class quest, now that Arcana is real. Quests are incredibly rare. There just aren't many non-player characters left to give them. Normal missions are rare enough, but he's just received a specialized Demon Hunter quest. At first, it looks like a standard hunt, but he knows this is something special. A news report flashes about the #1 ranked player in the entire world. Jiver, the top paladin, just started a class quest, and it's making national headlines. These quests go to only 1 person per class. It's a massive, earth-shaking event. Any player lucky enough to get one instantly ranks among the absolute best of all. Being only level 67, our protagonist thinks there's no way he could receive this. But after some research, he discovers a single, mind-blowing truth about his situation. He's actually the only demon hunter left. That's why the quest came to him. You saw that coming, right? As the only one left, he's the chosen one. He knows the hunter outpost is in Ashan. It looks grand, but it's tough. To reach it, you must climb 1,000 meters using nothing but terrifying, narrow routes. The training is mindless labor. Plus, the facilities are absolutely pathetic, to be honest. You don't even get meals unless you survive that brutal climb to the top. The work is mindless labor, and the facilities are basically falling apart. It's no wonder everyone quit, but Granfell's pride won't let him back down. You climb to the top, while a non-player character screams at you the entire way. He leaves his past failures behind and dives straight into the details of the quest. It's a counterattack prologue. Meanwhile, in the capital city, a specialized union is working. This organization was built to stop the chaos as the game takes over reality. They hired the original developers to analyze every new update that hits the world. A tired worker asks his friend if he thinks another update is coming today. He's totally exhausted and just wants to go home early without any more drama. He mentions that Reynold is the guy who actually posts these reality-altering updates. The moment a post goes live, the real world changes in scary, physical ways. A tired worker asks his friend if he thinks another Rupture update is coming later this week. He's done. He's just not in the mood for overtime and hopes things finally calm down. He notes that Reynold is the guy who actually posts these world-changing game updates. As soon as it's posted, reality shifts. Suddenly, his friend's eyes widen in fear. A new update just went live. They're both staring at the screen in shock. Trust me, you and I are about to witness some serious overtime chaos. Trust me, you and I are about to see an update that breaks the entire world. A massive rupture called the Count's Fortress is coming, crawling with terrifying new monsters. The Count himself is the dungeon boss, and his threat level is absolutely insane. He is level 430, way stronger than the world's top-ranked player at level 403. The developers are panicking. This update is impossible to beat, even for the strongest guilds. No guild could win. They actually considered asking the Mage Tower for backup. But those NPCs never move unless their own tower is in literal danger. Realizing this just sends the dev team into a total spiral of despair. A rupture this big will destroy everything if these monsters escape into reality. If they reach the real world, it is over. One employee is completely losing it. He shouts that this update shatters the balance of the entire world. Only a miracle can save them. Watch closely because our main character is busy training. His system is forcing him to train his body for the brutal mission ahead. He is doing tons of exercises, but he doesn't feel any stronger yet. He wonders if anything has actually changed since his time in Axon. His body is shaking like crazy as he pushes himself through intense training. He can't even make a sandwich, and for a food lover, that is pure torture. Even though he is dying inside, his character persona stays perfectly calm. Granfell is keeping him optimistic, making him feel like he's actually succeeding. If it wasn't for that Granfell pride, he would have quit a long time ago. He finally finishes the mission and thinks he can finally get some rest. But the very next morning, no chance, the system has zero chill. He is right back to training because the system gives him no breaks. The routine gets even more brutal. A week passes and it's not slowing down. Every time he finishes one task, another one pops up instantly. He only survives this daily grind thanks to that Granfell personality influence. But he is starting to wonder, how long does he have to keep doing this? Maybe the only reward he's getting is just a slightly healthier body. Wait, the system just notified him that he completed the weekly challenge. His reward, 2 points for vigor and 2 for dexterity. Huge. Permanent stat points are incredibly rare and usually cost a fortune. I know what you're thinking. Getting 4 free points is a total steal. He got stronger without even leveling up. That is a massive win. He realizes that this hellish training is actually worth the payoff. Suddenly, news about the terrifying new update starts trending everywhere. Reports are coming in. Almost every major guild is backing out. They are refusing to enter the new rupture because it is just too dangerous. The territory of the Count update is live, and he's finally here. Count Escura, a level 430 vampire demon, absolutely terrifying. That's the highest level ever recorded. This raid is basically a suicide mission. The Korean branch of the UAA has absolutely no comment yet. Our main character wonders if anyone on Earth can actually beat this guy. Everyone is saying this boss is the strongest in history, and it's scary. Panic is spreading, especially since the top-tier guilds are running away. You and I are about to see our protagonist do the impossible. Stick with me here. You and I are about to see why demons are every player's nightmare. They grow stronger every second and hit you with endless debuffs that drive players insane. Common wisdom says you better be at least 10 levels higher just to stand a chance. Facing a monster like this, for our main character, it should be a death sentence. But everything changes with this insane new quest. He just got popped into his menu. He's assigned to fight the most dangerous vampire lord that has ever appeared in history. This is a task that even the world's most skilled warriors are running from. Now, watch closely. This is where most people would just give up and go home. Normally, Li Hoi, our main character, would be falling into a pit of pure despair. But he feels his heart beating calmer than it has ever been before. He attributes this to Granfell, his character whose cold persona is now taking control. Granfell states that an inferior race is threatening to interfere with his precious personal time. He vows to punish them accordingly, but inside, Li Hoi thinks it's a terrible idea. Despite the internal screaming, he starts digging for more information on the target case. He discovers that according to the intel, Count Escura is currently hiding in Russia. To get there fast, he concludes that he'll need the legendary Mage Tower portal. This tower has a magic gateway capable of teleporting anyone to any specific location. It's why so many foreign guilds keep their main branches based in South Korea. He considers calling a taxi, but his alter ego refuses to wait any longer. And get this, instead of a winter coat, he grabs some tea for the journey, which he considers essential for the trip. Outside the tower, the media is gathered, hoping to capture the arrival of famous players who will use the portal to reach the high-level raid. One journalist notes the crowd, but his partner argues that transport isn't so simple. It consumes a massive amount of mana, so only the top tier can afford it. Suddenly, he witnesses several high-rank players approaching. Then the man everyone wanted to see, Nam Taman, arrives with his entourage, and the press swarms him for an interview. An intern from NBS asks if his guild has finally cracked the code. Chillman asks them to save questions for later, but his brother steps forward anyway. He claims he doesn't know how he'll kill Count Ascura, but he's not worried. Lack of a plan never stopped him before, and he's not starting now. He explains that he simply showed up early to stay ahead of the other competitors. As the leader of Gaon, Nam Taman declares he won't be sharing any information. He doesn't care if his rivals claim his secrecy hurts the greater good. He argues that if they really cared about peace, they'd fight more often. Instead, they just watch from afar. Just then, a cameraman spots the Shining Guild. Their leader, Lox, is level 399 and ranked second overall. He's a great hope. One ally suggests they avoid the massive press crowd. Lox agrees. His ally watches the Jin Guild and calls their leader's words arrogant. However, Lox comments that they're just nervous since all the guilds are here. He adds that the Jin Guild is in decline and struggling to keep up. Their leader is probably betting everything he has left on this one massive expedition. Meanwhile, Nam Kaelman advises his brother to stay calm and not get nervous. He tries to keep his brother focused as they prepare for the dangerous mission. The tension between the guilds is rising as they all enter the tower portal. His brother tells him to stay calm. "Trust me, we have to see what's next. You and I are about to watch our main character accidentally break the laws of magic." His brother asks if he finally managed to reach that mysterious contact of his again. Nam Chaelman explains he tried, but the system update completely ruined his original plans. His brother assumes that if the contact is truly strong, he will show up eventually. Meanwhile, our main character decides to just catch a bus to the Mage Tower. During the ride, he is busy studying magic videos to figure out how it works. He figures out there are 3 main stages to actually making magic work properly: inspecting the mana, messing with it, and finally making it manifest in reality. Testing it out, he actually manages to summon real fire right in his hand. But since he is on a crowded bus, he ends up terrifying every passenger nearby. The driver yells at him not to use dangerous abilities inside public transit. He apologizes, shocked that he was able to pull off the magic so quickly. He realizes he learned a complex skill just by watching videos, which is totally insane. He feels totally at ease, but then he checks his system and sees something wrong. The skill isn't showing up, even though new abilities usually appear in the status window immediately. He starts wondering if this is just some kind of weird bug in the system. Arriving at the Mage Tower, a place he had only ever seen from outside, he finds a portal. Staring at it, he feels a strange void, like he could control the gateway magic. He feels like he could manifest the portal himself, even easier than his earlier fire trick. But just as he is about to test his theory, someone crashes right into him. Now, watch this part closely. This accidental shove is about to change everything. He gets pushed into the portal, while Nam Taman warns the guy to be careful. His brother almost recognizes our hero, but Taman cuts in and asks for a briefing. He is totally distracted now, so Nam Koman begins briefing the entire guild. Nam Koman starts briefing the guild on their brand new mission. He points out a circle similar to other ruptures, warning there are hundreds of entrances. The inner circle belongs to the Count's family, covering about 30 different combat areas. And in the center, that is exactly where Count Ascura is waiting. However, he clarifies that this is just a guess based on how things usually work. If the rupture fully breaks, it is likely the entire castle will manifest in our world. In Russia, The scene is absolute chaos, with reporters and news crews already swarming. The place is packed with players, fans, and tons of people just wanting to watch. Even internet creators are out there, filming the rupture despite the freezing cold. Pay attention, because this is where our protagonist finally makes his big entrance. An influencer spots him and tries to push him away, thinking he is just competition. But Granfell is not having it. He tells the guy to move and stop playing games. Honestly, the freezing Russian weather has him completely on edge right now. He ignores the crowds and walks right up to the rupture, totally ready to enter. His only real wish at the moment is that it is much warmer inside. But he was not the first one there. Other players are already in action. Inside the rift, level 348 Berserker Guild leader Leni is currently getting scolded. Her team argues that being high level does not mean she should rush in alone. Leni is famous for her explosive temper and for losing her cool in a heartbeat. Just as she flares up, our protagonist Granfell finally steps through the portal. Trust me, you and I are about to see chaos. Inside the rupture, his system screams danger. You and I are jumping right onto the enemy doorstep. He is on the frozen outskirts of enemy territory, battling the cold while keeping his absolute composure. Suddenly, our main character spots a pack of level 230 wolves closing in fast. Even at just level 67, he triggers his natural enemy skill, betting everything on victory. He looks them dead in the eye and tells those wolves they picked the wrong prey. Now, he is about to show these monsters exactly what it feels like to be hunted down. While he fights, other groups are out there deep in the middle of their own hunts. Leni Balalichsai is leading her squad, but she is already getting annoyed by all these wolf attacks. Her teammates try to calm her down, but she is clearly not in the mood today. Another member just laughs it off, saying their guild leader has always been this intense. They have already wiped out dozens of wolves, yet the pack just keeps coming without end. This is only the first leg of the journey, and the scale is already getting insane. Lene senses something off, though. Why are these wolves showing zero fear of her group? This behavior is completely unusual for monsters, and her guildmates are starting to get confused. She insists the atmosphere feels way more threatening than any normal hunt they have done. Have any of you noticed an enemy actually crying or feeling pain during this fight? She asks. Silence falls over the team as they realize she is right. Then, a distant howl echoes. One companion freezes. That is no normal howl. Trust me, that is the sound of pure terror. These howling wolves sound completely different from the aggressive ones they just faced in the field. Lene decides they will find their answers once they catch up to the rest of the pack. Meanwhile, back with our main character, the hunt is still going strong in the distance. He draws his bow and arrow, feeling his mana flow directly into the weapon like a river. The bow itself is pretty basic, but he can push it past its limits using his mana. Flames ignite across the string as he manifests massive fire power to incinerate his enemies. As the wolves lunge, he unleashes wave after wave of fire right into their faces. Leni and her group watch from a distance, completely stunned by the show he is putting on. Once the smoke clears and the fight ends, he just sits down to drink some tea. The other hunters are losing their minds trying to figure out his fire arrow technique. Who wears a suit and tie inside a dangerous rift while casually sipping tea after a massacre? I know what you are thinking. This guy is definitely built different. The group is baffled. One guild member wonders if he is just some lost streamer who followed the wrong group in. Leonie steps up, warning him that civilians have no business being in a place this deadly. She tells him to leave while he still can, but Granfell does not even look at her. He just takes another sip of tea. Talk about the ultimate level of disrespect and calm. Getting ignored makes Leonie snap, demanding he at least respond when a top hunter speaks. Before she can finish her rant, her teammates yell out about a massive wave of enemies. A much larger swarm is closing in, catching the entire group completely off their guard. These monsters are all level 230, making this a high-stakes life or death fight. The monsters are level 230. Leni orders them to hold. They obey orders to hold position, trying to resist as best as they possibly can. But the sheer scale of the danger is immense. Suddenly, Lainey charges into battle. She moves like a blur, using her insane speed to cut down the enemy front lines. Someone screams a warning. There is an adversary hiding high up on the rocks above. She realizes they are surrounded by archers. They are totally exposed and about to be targeted. He is still standing there. Trust me, you and I need to see what happens next. You and I are about to see him casually sipping tea during this attack. The enemy boss orders a total volley, and arrows start raining down on them. Meanwhile, our main character stays calm, checking the mana level inside his simple thermos. It is actually easy to control. He figures that to pull off this move, he would usually need a massive pool of mana that he just does not have. But if magical enchantments are not skills, the entire game changes right now. With that thought, he starts messing with his thermos for a quick result. The outcome is perfect. Lean scrambles to protect herself, praying they can survive the impact. But then she realizes something is off. Not a single arrow has actually hit them. Her entire squad is stunned. Looking up, they see a stone barrier shielding everyone. It blocked everything perfectly. Lean wonders if this could somehow be alchemy. But she has never seen anything like this before. High-level skills are incredibly rare. Now pay attention here. Our main character steps forward to explain everything. He tells them this is not a skill at all. He is using pure magic. The fact a defensive wall just appeared out of nowhere completely shocks the group. Even the main character is a bit surprised by how well this actually worked. He did not have much time to test his new powers before entering this rift. But there is zero time for celebrating. The enemy wave is still coming fast. They are pushing in on the ground now, trying to surround our heroes completely. Our main character realizes he has to step up and take some real action. The guild leader yells for her team to prepare for battle and hold ground. She tells our hero to help out, since they are all stuck in this together. Granfell gets ready, and to Leanie's total shock, he suddenly summons a massive bow. In the middle of the chaos, a hero gets hurt. Someone screams for help. But that shout leaves him wide open. He is about to get hit hard. Before the strike lands, someone interferes. He looks up and realizes he is safe. It only took a single arrow, a perfect shot from our protagonist. Talk about timing. Lainey is beyond confused. She is trying to figure out how his skills work. Her respect grows as Granfell reveals a brand new trick with every single move. This time, he fires a flaming arrow, sniping the closest enemy in sight. Lean realizes this guy is using skills from mages, alchemists, and archers at once. You and I can see why she is confused. Who exactly is this man? Before long, the heroes manage to wipe out the remaining enemies once again. A guild member reports to the leader that the area is finally clear now. She praises her team, but honestly, her mind is stuck on our main character. Leanie cannot understand why he is alone in a high-level rift like this one. He is wearing basic gear and avoids answering any of her questions properly. Plus, he does not even seem tired. Though she hates to admit it, she knows that if it was not for him, her entire guild would be dead. She starts thinking he might be a top ranker, even if he is unknown. She has never heard of anyone like him. She even starts finding him handsome. She decides that because of his cold attitude earlier, she is not thanking him. She refuses to thank him and just keeps staring at him. He suddenly looks back, leaving her totally embarrassed as she tries to hide. And trust me, you and I are just getting started with this wild story. All right, you and I are jumping back and right as she stares at our protagonist. She thinks he might share his tea, and she definitely won't refuse him. To her shock, he walks over and says that despite her staring eyes, he has zero plans to share his tea with anyone. Just like that, all of Leonie's expectations are completely shattered. A short while later, drones from a Korean reporter covering the Russian event fly over the rupture. The world is watching. This is a top-tier boss battle. This is the highest-level boss ever seen. Press coverage is massive. They report that hundreds of smaller ruptures surround the main territory now. Every single one must be cleared before players can reach the next stage. This info is solid. The boss's fortress is the final goal for everyone. Elite guilds like Shining and Gaon are already inside the rupture zone. Now pay attention. The real question is who reaches the end first. The first guild to clear this will gain massive fame around the world. Their achievements will be legendary, and the anticipation outside is just insane. Inside a TV director's cabin, an employee arrives with some fresh coffee. The guy complains about the darkness, but the director likes it that way. He's only interested in one thing: are there any new rupture videos yet? His employee tells him that all the teams are moving fast. They're halfway there, and the Shining Guild is leading the pack. But suddenly, something completely unexpected catches both of them off guard. An assistant sprints right past the reporters, leaving them totally baffled. The director himself announces that the first clearing has finally been completed. He orders the reporters to stop staring and follow that assistant. Everyone is shocked. There isn't any solid info yet, which is why the director needs his team to get over there right this second. The assistant rushes ahead, reaches the scene, and contacts the director. His boss asks him which specific guild cleared the area first. But the assistant reveals it wasn't any of the guilds they expected. Get this, it was the Berserkers, the guild nobody saw coming. The director is baffled. After all, the Berserkers are only ranked 32nd. The assistant confirms it. He even filmed the leader leaving the scene. He already sent the video. The director still can't understand how they managed to enter the territory way before top guilds like Shining. Plus, the assistant says the Berserkers look like they're in perfect condition. He even spots a Korean man standing with the European guild. Since the Berserkers are all Europeans, this is a huge anomaly. Realizing how bizarre this is, the press begins to swarm the scene. The assistant sees the competition and tries for an exclusive interview. He approaches our protagonist, asking for a full report on what happened. He asks for an interview about the raid and his connection to them. But Granfell isn't having it. He just tells the guy to get lost. He warns that his patience is thin and is about to run out. Other reporters swarm the Berserker Guild, desperate for a statement from the leader. And trust me, you and I just witnessed a game-changing moment. All right, stick with me, because this guild leader is about to have a very bad day. She is in no mood for questions. Journalists are pushy, but Leanie just cannot deal. They claim this interview is huge for her guild, but honestly, she is totally checked out. All she can think about is that annoying protagonist. He cleared the dungeon, not her. She looks around, but he is already gone, just vanished into thin air. A teammate tells her the guy just left. Apparently, he had to get home immediately. Leanie is left standing there, wondering how someone could just walk away from this fame. She is absolutely fuming. How could he just turn and walk away? She was actually going to give him credit. Instead, he just ignored the spotlight. Interviews build a guild's status. Walking away, that is just pure insanity to her. She cannot fathom a single good reason for his behavior. But wait, look there. Reporters spot a second rupture nearby. Out comes the Gaon Guild, looking proud and ready. They cleared that portal. Now, the media swarm begins once more for them. Watch closely here, because the rivalries are about to explode. Gaon's leader, Nam Timan, sees the Berserkers. He is confused. Why are they already out? A reporter congratulates him for being second. Nam Timan freezes. Second? That cannot be right. The realization hits him hard. They were not first. Leanie tries to say something. But her voice is drowned out. A thick, tense atmosphere settles over both groups. Later at camp, Nam Timan is watching the news with his brother, Nam Chilman. On the screen, Leanie says Gaon is not the only top guild in Korea. That really lights a fire under him. He feels completely provoked by her public comment. He thinks she is acting crazy, just because she cleared the rupture before him. To him, the Berserker Guild is just spouting nonsense. No guild should beat Gaon. He insists it is impossible for a group like theirs to exist in Korea. But his brother realizes something else. Leanie meant she found a hidden powerhouse player. Nam Timan is indignant. He demands to know who this supposedly amazing person is. Chilman is not sure about the name, but he knows only one person capable. Meanwhile, our protagonist Lee Hoyal is finally home. He is heading straight for the shower. The cold from the battle was killing him. He desperately needs to warm up. His only wish is to sleep, but his alter ego, Granfell, has other plans. You and I both saw that coming, right? Well, think again, he is not sleeping. Granfell claims the house got too dusty while they were away. It needs cleaning. So instead of resting, they clean. Granfell even starts prepping tomorrow's meal right now. This helps Hoyal feel less exhausted. He finally takes a moment to check his stats. The loot was disappointing, nothing useful, but hey, he reached level 86 at least. Still, it feels like a small reward for a dangerous challenge. He starts analyzing stats. He realizes that magic uses less mana than skills. That let him spam more spells. But there is a catch. His mana regen is slow, he has no gear. No equipment means no fix for that. Plus, his Demon Hunter class is quite limited. Lee Hoyal thinks they got lucky the other guilds arrived. Things could have been worse. But Granfell, he is not having it. He thinks this is just because Hoyal is weak. The character shows zero humility at all. He basically looks down on everyone around him. Luckily, the other guilds showed up for the fight. The situation would be way worse. Granfell thinks differently. He says this is only because Hoyal is weak. You and I just witnessed peak arrogance. Trust me, it gets even crazier. You and I are about to see what happens when someone underestimates him. And if they overestimate him, he'll surpass those expectations every single time. Lee Hoyal actually blames himself for giving his character such extreme personality traits. Suddenly, Granfell announces the next rupture is right in the Count's family territory. There's zero time to relax. They need to move now before things get worse. He warns that relying only on magic isn't enough. Close quarters combat is essential. In fact, he's already lined up the perfect task to start this training. The guild leader is the one player who really caught his attention earlier. Copying her high-level skills would give them a massive advantage in battle. To Hoyal's despair, Granfell insists that mastering the basics is the only way. Hoyal gets a terrible feeling, and his suspicions are confirmed just seconds later. His character announces they'll wash the dishes before starting the training immediately. Night falls, but sleep is off the table because Granfell decides to run. Now pay attention, because an urgent news report suddenly cuts through the silence. The announcer says 95% of the surrounding area has been cleared. Soon, the Count's territory will be officially open for players to start raids. But wait, the progress rate for the territory has already jumped to 60%. At this insane speed, the territory is going to break out very soon. Experts everywhere are expressing deep concern about this unprecedented situation. Nam Tammen hears the news and is totally shocked by what he's hearing. Gaining that much progress in one day should be practically impossible for anyone. His brother notes that time limits decrease as monsters get even stronger. He's not entirely sure though, so he asks for more time to investigate. Over at the Arcana Guild camp, a TV director is losing his mind. He demands a logical explanation, since monsters shouldn't just get stronger like this. However, his assistant admits that even their best analysts have no real answers. The director concludes that if a breach happens, they're all completely finished. The moment those monsters escape the dungeon, every single person there will die. Civilians and players alike are in grave danger if they can't stop this. You saw that too, right? This rapid progress is scaring everyone involved. Hoyle knows this never happened before, so the general panic makes perfect sense. Since this info only exists in the game Axon, he needs to hurry. He understands that a vampire is a creature that shares authority through blood. Count Escura shared his power with the monsters surrounding his massive territory. When those monsters were killed, that authority naturally returned to the Count. Now, he's likely redistributing all that power to the monsters inside his walls. This makes them stronger and pushes the progress rate to dangerous new levels. With this realization, the protagonist sees the true risk ahead of them. If he clears the territory, the fortress might break out immediately afterward. Granfell declares that Count Escura is totally unworthy of his noble title. He believes a true aristocrat never takes back what has been given away. Now, he intends to pass judgment on this enemy, who's shamed the nobility. Lee Hoyle agrees, but tries to convince his character to get some sleep. But Granfell just claims he'll have plenty of time to sleep when dead. Only 5 hours remain, and you and I are about to see chaos. All right, let's dive into the absolute chaos erupting in the Count's territory. Influencer Park Gang is live, warning everyone that a massive outbreak is imminent. Guilds are scrambling to prepare before this whole event spirals out of control. But get this, while other areas have 200 ruptures here, Count's territory only has about 30 ruptures left. That means guilds have to share, and rewards depend entirely on contribution. It's a high-stakes race where your loot is tied to your performance. Now, competition is brutal, and even top rankers are starting to throw hands. Fights are breaking out everywhere as everyone fights for the top spot. Suddenly, Nam Chilman arrives, and his brother is desperate for any new info. Chilman confirms it. With fewer ruptures, a bloodbath for resources is inevitable. His brother hopes they can at least avoid clashing with the Shining Guild. No luck, the Shining Guild went north, leaving them to face Unified Under Heaven. It's getting crowded, with the Berserkers, Second Son, and Bohemian guilds all lurking. Every major player is on edge after what happened during the first cleanse. Now pay attention, because this confrontation is where things get really personal. He's facing his rivals from the Japanese Inazuma Guild. Their leader, Hagi Kazuma, acts surprised to see the Geion Guild there. He can't believe they're trying to enter the exact same rupture as him. Nam Taman snaps back, mocking them for not even having a Korean branch. He figures they literally just stepped off the plane from Japan to compete. Kazuma just sneers, saying flying to Russia is better than staying in Korea. That's a massive insult, and Nam Taman is ready to lose his cool. This is exactly what Kazuma wants. He's baiting him into a public brawl. The influencer spying on them is loving the drama. I know you're thinking, everyone's waiting for a fight. Reporters and influencers are swarming, cameras ready to catch the first blow. Nam Chilman tries to play peacekeeper, reminding his brother about the mission. He argues that closing the rupture matters more than some stupid ego trip. But all Nam Taman can see is the gap in the rankings. Inazuma is ranked 4th globally, while his Geion Guild slipped to 5th. Plus, Kazuma is ranked 6th, while he's stuck down at 11th place. Toss in the intense national rivalry, and things get even more heated. Even Chilman can't stay neutral anymore. Pride is on the line now. They're determined to crush the Inazuma Guild now. Word spreads fast that both Geion and Inazuma have officially entered the rift. This famous rivalry is drawing in huge crowds. Everyone is obsessing over the rankings and the nationalities of every member. Meanwhile, the 2 strongest guilds are handling the northernmost rift together. That's Shining at rank 1 and Unified Under Heaven at rank 2. To the south, we've got Berserker, Second Son, and the Bohemian Guild. They're ranked 30, 7, and 3 respectively, a total powerhouse lineup. Meanwhile, the global destruction rate has already hit 80%. Fear is spreading worldwide as our main character enters the rift. He realized something huge, and that's where we leave it. Stick with me, you and I are about to see how running out of mana changed everything. He needed a way to use his energy more efficiently during these intense battles. Designated magic is the result, an alchemy skill that reshapes things into any desired form. For his first test, he literally turned stones from the ground into a table. But there is a catch: the more detailed the object, the more mana it burns. This makes the technique pretty useless for combat where every drop of mana counts. However, while brainstorming a fix, our main character stumbled upon a game-changing realization. As he is lost in thought, monsters swarm. He finds their aggressive actions totally pathetic. He wonders if this is the authority the Count gave them before attacking with magic. He demands they return to dust. Watch with me as he levels up. He realizes that restoring things to their original state consumes almost 0 mana. He names this new technique reverse magic, and it is a massive game changer. Meanwhile, in the deepest territory, the defenders are hunted by Nam Taman. The enemies try to group up, but the guild leader remains completely unfazed. He destroys them with ease, clearing out the entire area in no time. However, Nam Taman notices something odd. There are way too few enemies around. It is a strange situation, because there should be massive waves of monsters everywhere. And Scout arrives reporting that the Inazuma Guild is seeing the exact same thing. Since they entered, they have not even faced 10 enemies, which feels very wrong. This is happening despite both guilds heading in completely opposite directions. Shortly after, Hagi Kazuma approaches, noting how peaceful the place seems to be. Taman asks why his opponent is acting like they are old friends. Kazuma says he does not get the hate, but all this tension makes him want to retaliate. Before a fight breaks out, Taman receives a frantic call from his brother. His brother is finishing the dungeon analysis, but the signal is weak. He cannot send a video, and Taman reports being in a square. Terrified, his brother tells him he needs to leave that area immediately. Taman does not understand the rush until he senses something massive approaching. The Count's level 350 knights have finally arrived. Now watch closely, the danger surrounding them is officially off the charts. Nam Taman realizes they are surrounded on all sides, and so does his rival. He knows a knight has massive destructive power on flat terrain like this. Because of that, he has no backup plan, but Kazuma suggests an alliance. They see enemies coming from every direction and realize both guilds are finished. His brother warns him that the unified Under Heaven Guild was also ambushed. He screams for everyone to retreat into a different type of terrain. However, at this point, Nam Taman has absolutely nowhere left to run. Just as hope fades, a massive magical attack strikes the enemy line. It pushes the knights away, shocking both of the guild leaders. That massive blast of energy knocks the knights back, saving the heroes. It is a surprising turn of events, even for these powerful guild leaders. A giant stone pillar separates them from the deadly charging enemy cavalry. Taman wonders who could have summoned such a perfect protection here. Looking into the distance, Nam Taman recognizes the warrior right away. You and I are about to witness the true power of reverse magic. Stick with me, you and I are about to watch our hero dominate. He is late to the party, but this streamer's still determined to track Gaon Guild. But the chat warns him he is not alone. Quickly, he pivots toward the Inazuma. He lets his followers know the plan has changed. Time to follow the Inazuma. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the area. Curious, he heads straight toward the noise. That sound came from the giant stone pillars the main character summoned on the battlefield. The massive pillars tower over everyone. The sight has left the soldiers completely stunned. Everyone's wondering who this newcomer is. He built this fortress without saying a word. Hagi Kazuma realizes the truth. Anyone who can pull this off must have insane mana. But get this, he is not wearing armor. He is standing there in formal attire. Now pay attention. This is where the mystery behind this hero starts to deepen. Some enemies try to slip through, but these stone pillars aren't just for show. The massive stone structures act like a maze, slowing the enemy's horses right down. Seeing the opening, Nam Taman shouts that thanks can wait. Now it's time to fight. The battle finally feels winnable. With the enemies trapped, the win is within reach. Kazuma senses the shift too. He orders an attack, and the real battle begins. Meanwhile, our streamer friend is catching it all, his jaw hitting the floor in shock. He is incredibly impressed by the sudden appearance of this powerful, unknown mage. While the main character is just using reverse magic, the world sees something else entirely. From the streamer's view, it looks like a lone warrior taking on the entire cavalry. I know what you're thinking, fighting a whole cavalry solo. That's just pure hype. The protagonist draws a silver dagger to fight. It is a rare, high-tier weapon. He doesn't want to ruin the blade's durability in a messy fight like this. He considers manipulating its mana to transform it, and then revert it back later. He isn't sure it'll work, but he remembers turning a simple stone into a cup. Back then, the object took on the properties of whatever new form he chose. and once it turned back into a stone, it regained its original strength and state. Theoretically, the same thing should happen with his dagger during this intense fight. He transforms the dagger into a spike and performs a quick, experimental test strike. After the strike, he restores it. Success! The blade is exactly as it was before. It worked exactly as he predicted. This trick will be useful for future battles. As the battle ends, Nam Taman is left staring, completely lost in thought. He is finally standing before the warrior his brother praised for so many weeks. Now that he's seen this power firsthand, he's more determined than ever to recruit him. Taman wants him for the guild, knowing the rival leaders also saw him in action. He just doesn't know what kind of offer could possibly sway such a godly talent. Suddenly, a streamer pushes through the crowd, wanting an exclusive interview on camera. Other warriors beat him to it, swarming the protagonist like a global superstar. They are showering him with praise, not caring if he is Korean or Japanese. Not wanting to be left behind, Nam Taman also tries to get much closer. Reaching the hero, he introduces himself and mentions hearing about him before. He reminds the mage that he previously sent a message inviting him to the guild. The protagonist just states that the approach lacked any real sense of formality. He reminds the hero that he previously sent a message inviting him to the guild. And trust me, you and I will want to see what happens next. He refuses all questions. You and I are watching this broadcast live. News spreads quickly that the mysterious player declined to speak with them. The headline says the Shining Guild cleared the Count's family territory. The Shining Guild was officially the first to clear the Count's territory. But back at their camp, their leader, Lox, isn't excited. He's watching our protagonists battle and asking his allies for their thoughts. Camilla just shrugs it off, saying she is only an archer anyway. Demeter says there is no point asking about things they don't know. That only makes Lox more curious. Camilla admits the guy is impressive. She figures they'll either recruit him or have to worry about him. Demeter thinks their leader is just jealous because he stole the show. Our main character is taking the spotlight after the guild's major victory. He tells Lox not to be greedy and just enjoy the win. After all, the guild already got plenty of screen time today. Camilla agrees. The press always gets excited about any new player. To her, a player like that is just having a temporary moment. While his team goes to celebrate, Lox stays behind, completely obsessed. He's watching the footage over and over. Then, a mysterious mage approaches. Now pay attention, because Jessie Heinessy finds this video very interesting. She says it looks like magic, but somehow, it really isn't. Lox notes he's never heard her get impressed by anything before. She confirms the guy in the video is truly interesting. Meanwhile, nearby. Over at the Berserker Guild, Leni Balalichsai is watching the same footage. She's furious, claiming she knew this guy wasn't normal from the start. Her colleagues try to calm her down, but she just gets more agitated. Meanwhile, the Inazuma leader gets a call with a specific recruitment order. He's confident he can bring the main character into the fold. Later, a reporter announces the big day in Arcana has finally arrived. Massive crowds are watching as the surrounding territory is finally cleared. You and I can feel it, these stakes are absolutely massive. Shining beat out the Unified Guild for the top spot. Now, only the fortress remains at 72% destruction as players gather. However, due to the extreme risk of this breach, tension is huge. Tension is running high inside the camps. If that fortress erupts, Russia will be wiped off the map. Everyone is praying for luck. But one specific scene in the footage stole the whole world's attention. Amidst all the captured footage, one scene in particular stood out. An unarmed warrior in a business suit pulled off an incredible performance. People are losing their minds, wondering where this power comes from. Honestly, our main character just wore the suit because he had nothing else. News reports show him moving massive stone pillars with his bare hands. Experts are scrambling to explain how this feat is even physically possible. It would have been a total disaster for the Geion and Inazuma guilds. If the mysterious player arrived late, the outcome would have been tragic. He truly changed the game for everyone, and trust me, you'll want to see this. All right, stick with me, because our main character is about to turn a messy situation into pure genius. Everyone thinks he is being a hero, but honestly, he is just completely out of mana. Just glad he is not dead meat yet. While checking his loot, Li Hoi notices something huge. It is the first rare drop he has ever seen since he officially became a player. The cursed blood-imbued necklace. Usually, players wait to lift the curse for a random effect. Everyone wants these for the rarity, but Hoyle has a much crazier idea in mind. See, he knows a secret way to weaponize cursed items that most people would never dare. Using his exorcism ritual, one of his two main demon hunter skills, he can offer the item up. Normally, this skill just targets demons while keeping the host safe from any harm. But by using an offering, he can actually pull a demon directly into his own mind. Now pay attention, because this is where the main character gets absolutely wild with his strategy. Inviting a demon into his consciousness. Yeah, Li Hoi is built different. It is like the status effect demons use to break humans, but not him. He believes he can dominate the demon instead of being its puppet. Absolute confidence. Suddenly, he gets a call from Nam Chanmin. Li Hoi has no idea why. He thinks it is about his brother, but if he picks up, he might sound rude. He stays in character way too hard, so he decides a text is safer. He is in a rush, so he just texts, but when the brothers see it, they are stunned. Once again, the main character's reply is short and cold. Nam Tamin feels massive regret. He knows his lack of formality is a problem. He wishes he could apologize properly and offer something better than their last awkward meeting. Watching the footage back on TV, even he admits he was way too disrespectful. Judging by Hoyle's cold expression, they are convinced the guy is absolutely fuming right now. His face says it all. They conclude he is fuming. Anyway, Nam Tamin knows. You and I both know Li Hoi is not actually mad. He is just stuck in that edgy persona. Anyway, Nam shifts focus. The destruction meter is already at 83%. He thinks he has 10 minutes to breathe before things get real. He is dead wrong. Suddenly, a massive tremor shakes them, and Nam Tamin asks what is happening. The Count's family fortress is erupting. This was supposed to happen much later. The fortress has erupted. This rupture was supposed to be much further off. But it just collapsed. Now, all of Russia is entering a state of emergency. Casualties are mounting around the camps as borders are being slammed shut. On top of all that, the Count's family fortress is manifesting in the real world. Right in the middle of all this chaos, our protagonist finally arrives on the scene. Soon enough, people recognize him from the news. They cannot believe their eyes. They watch the main character walking in solo and think he is absolutely insane. But for our hero, nothing else matters. He enters the enemy's massive fortress. Hoyle starts questioning if this place even deserves to be called a fortress. Granfell claims all this luxury is way too much for a low-tier vampire. He is unimpressed. He has seen the Claude mansion, and that was 10 times bigger. The motionless statue suddenly springs to life. Our hero realizes he has been heard. Warriors watching from outside are losing it. They think he is on a total suicide mission. Facing a 10-meter giant alone. Trust me, you and I are about to see something legendary. They can't win alone. Stick with me, things are about to get wild. Escape seems like the only option, but our hero, he just stares. One flick of his wrist, and that massive statue is absolute dust. Every player watching is paralyzed with shock. This guy is just built different. One blow, enemy gone. Elsewhere, the Heining Guild hears a massive crash. That thunderous sound, it matches the video of our main character fighting. Jessie loses it and sprints toward the noise, completely breaking formation. Warnings from the team don't matter anymore. She is moving on instinct. To Granfell, that guardian was just another rock he needed to break. A mere statue stands zero chance of slowing down a legend like him. Now watch closely. As he moves in, he senses someone else approaching. With the gatekeeper dead, the other players finally find their lost courage. He doesn't get why they are so fired up now, but whatever. The system pings. Mission accepted, enter the fortress and slay the vampire. Granfell walks in. Hoyle's internal voice is screaming at him to turn back. He knows the Count is on another level, but Granfell doesn't care. He steps into a banquet hall, and the vibe is just weird. Every single inch of wall is covered in portraits of the Count. Then the Jin Guild arrives. Their leader, Tammin, knows something is wrong. He stops dead. The air feels heavy, like the walls are closing in. His teammates are confused, but he is standing there, feeling totally suffocated. Those paintings are staring. He can feel their eyes burning into his back. His brother realizes it is a trap. This feels like demon magic. Those aren't just portraits. They are demons in disguise, waiting to strike. Tammin barks the order, burn everything, torch every single painting in sight. As the flames rise, the oppressive weight finally starts to lift off him. They see other players retreating in fear. Now the reason is clear. This castle is a death trap filled with debuffs and status effects. Statues and paintings are literally poisoning the minds of anyone who enters. That explains why the Shining Guild took the side entrance. They knew. Tammin realizes his mistake. As a barbarian, he is a magnet for anomalies. If things get any weirder, he is going to be in serious trouble. I know what you're thinking. How does our hero handle this trash? He just calls the decor garbage. His standards are far too high. He says you'd need a stomach of steel to eat in this dump. The statues are even worse. He actually feels bad for the stones. It is not just the art. The whole floor plan is a disaster. Hallways that lead nowhere. Talk about a massive lack of proper planning. After a short walk, he finds a grand staircase. Finally, some progress. He can smell it now. The stench of death is getting much stronger. Based on the layout, he is standing right at the heart of the fortress. Behind those doors, the dreaded Count Usura is waiting for a guest. It is eerie, too quiet. He assumes he is the only one here. No other players should be this deep into the enemy territory yet. But trust me, you and I are about to see a huge arrival. Found him, you and I are diving into the moment she finally tracks down our protagonist. Lee Hoyle is stunned to see her floating there, while Granfell stays cold and calculating as always. Jessie admits she's been so curious about him that she literally couldn't wait another second for this meeting. She explains that she's watched his videos on loop without finding a single clue to his power. His secret is driving her crazy, and she demands to know the truth right this second. Meanwhile, our hero is annoyed. He's carefully saving mana while she just wastes it like water. To him, that's incredibly rude. So, he grabs her shoulder and firmly plants her on the floor. He tells her to show some manners. Basic politeness is the bare minimum when asking a teacher. Jessie is suddenly shaken, but it's not our hero scaring her. It's the horror behind him. Pay attention here. You and I are about to see things get truly dangerous. The master of this place has finally awakened. The Count is officially wide awake now. Quickly, the protagonist triggers his powerful specialized skill that he calls Natural Enemy. As the Count draws near, he sneers, curious to see who dared to disturb his slumber. He sees two humans and calls them fools, bragging about being superior to all of mankind. Jessie is shaking, but our protagonist doesn't feel a hint of fear against this legendary enemy. He finds it hilarious that such a low-class vampire lives in such a wretched place. With a smirk, he pulls out a necklace soaked in cursed blood to use as an offering. Holding the relic, he tells the Count he'll teach him what a real aristocrat is. He activates his exorcism ritual skill and prepares to start a high-stakes vampire hunt. See, Granfell once planned to use this necklace to drag the Count into his mind. But Lee Hoyle argued that for this to work, he had to make the enemy afraid. Granfell just scoffed, saying scaring monsters is an easy task for a legendary demon hunter. Still, the warning was clear. The Count is level 430. One mistake means possession. Back in the present, the Count just laughs at the necklace. Arrogance is fine, he says. But to him, his opponent is still just a tiny insect compared to his power. Jessie realizes the Count is absorbing all the energy he once shared with his loyal subordinates. Look closely, the Count just laughed at our hero's necklace and his arrogance. He says the human, is just an insect compared to his own massive vampire strength. Jesse sees the Count is absorbing the power he once shared with his underlings. Lee Hoyle knows the Count is normally 300 levels higher than him. If the monster takes all that power back, he'll become even stronger than before. But then the Count stops. Granfell had the entire situation under control. He's trapped. The Count is furious and admits this trick is unique. He claims it won't be enough, and he can easily bypass it. He was curious to see if he'd be entertained, but now his opponent is just ash. To his shock, Granfell challenges him again, asking if he still thinks he's facing an inferior. The annoyed Count demands to know how his opponent is still breathing after that blast. Granfell tells him to look around. In reality, it is the Count who is already dead. Granfell challenges him once more, asking if he really thinks he's facing an inferior. The Count is annoyed and demands to know how his opponent is still alive. Granfell tells him to pay closer attention to his actual surroundings. He reveals the truth. In reality, it is the Count who is already dead. The vampire is terrified as he sees his own defeated body right in front of him. Trust me, you and I just saw his mind completely start to collapse. It's over. Granfell had planned every single detail from the start. All right, you and I are about to watch an epic mental trap. Outside, Jessie is totally confused because all she sees is the Count muttering to himself. While the mage is still, our hero mocks the Count, calling him a coward. This sends the Count into a total panic, and he screams for silence as his nerves shatter. Since he is so weak, the Count cannot land a single hit on his opponent. The force of his missed attack destroys the entire top of the castle. Jesse thinks he predicted everything, but he knows he just got really lucky. He pushes on with his exorcism ritual, an ability that targets the possessing demons specifically. This skill lets him strike the entity without taking any physical damage during the process. However, there is a secret effect he can achieve by using a special offering. Watch closely. He uses an offering to force the demon into his mind. This mental tug-of-war is all about raw strength, and Granfell is not losing. By the end, Lee Hoyle is stunned by just how effective his character build actually was. Even Jesse is impressed, asking him exactly what kind of hell he unleashed on the enemy. He explains the Count is lost in a nightmare, screaming and attacking thin air in terror. He basically took the fear demons use on us and turned it against the Count himself. And with that, he completes the mission, leaving the enemy completely broken and defenseless. Now that the threat is subdued, he moves in to finish it with a quick strike. With the enemy down, he goes for a quick strike with his dagger, but it fails. It barely leaves a scratch. He realizes the level difference makes his weapons useless here. So he asks Jessie to finish the job, which leaves her totally confused and shocked. She does not get it, after all, he is the one who did all the work. Our hero wants to handle it, but his current level is just too low to finish. Trust me, you're going to love this. He lets Jessie take the kill. She assumes this is some high-level training, and she will learn more by doing it. Resolved to grow stronger, she prepares to defeat the enemy for good with her own magic. She summons a massive magical force and strikes the Count with one final, devastating blow. Lee Hoy is amazed by her power as the mission completion bonuses start popping up. With the Count gone, he finally receives all his mission completion bonuses. Seeing only ashes remain, he wonders if Jesse could have one alone. He realizes a high-level player possesses power beyond his current understanding. Jesse picks up some of the enemy's ashes and prepares to taste them. Shocked by her actions, our protagonist desperately tries to stop the girl. But his character is frozen because his focus is locked on system notifications. Shortly after, Jesse's teammates approach and ask if she defeated the Count. Still in total awe of the protagonist, she barely even knows where to start her story. Meanwhile, Locke spots our hero and realizes he is the mystery man from that viral video. Jessie Highnesses says she is not used to being polite, but she will try. She formally introduces herself and asks if she can finally know the legendary hero's name. All her friends watch closely, waiting for him. He thinks she is rude, but likes that she is willing to learn and change. Finally, he agrees to give his name and introduces himself to everyone. News spreads fast about a man who soloed the fortress right through the gates. Reports say a giant statue tried to stop him, but it did not even slow him down. You and I just watched the start of an absolute legend. Wild, right? All right, you and I are watching the moment this man shatters the statue completely. By the time reporters hit the scene, the Count was already nothing but ash. While the news is airing, little Erang points at the screen, recognizing her Uncle Hoyan. At first, her mother has no idea what she is saying, but then she looks closer. The realization hits her hard. It really is him, and her eyes go wide. Her brother is literally trending on every single news channel in the country. Meanwhile, our main character is just at home cleaning when his phone starts vibrating. It is a call from his sister. He knew his family would recognize him eventually, even if the media did not. I mean, his face was all over television. He sees a pile of missed calls from all three of his older sisters. Now he has always been close with them, but it is complicated. He often felt like the odd one out, so he is really not in the mood to talk. Just as he decides to ignore them, there is a loud, aggressive knock right at his door. Watch this because his sister is not happy and demands that Lee Hoyal opens up. Since he would not answer his phone, she showed up in person to track him down. She gives him a final warning to open that door while she is still being nice. Hoyal is shocked when he finally opens up and sees all three of them standing there together. The sisters, Lai Yunhai, Lee Jian, and Lai Yuram, are ready to cause a scene. He tells them to keep it down for the neighbors, but they just stare. Each sister has this totally bizarre reaction the second they lay eyes on him. At the same time, the media hype around our hero just will not die down. The whole world is talking about how he took down Countess Gura with Jesse Hainai. He just dropped his name and vanished, which only made everyone more obsessed with who Lee Hoyal is. Elsewhere, Nam Taman brings a hot chocolate for his brother, Nam Koman, to calm his nerves. You and I can see the stress here as they talk about Hoyal's fame. Koman is a realist and thinks it will be impossible to get a guy this famous into their guild. His brother tells him not to give up hope just yet. There is still a chance. He points out that the loot from the Count's territory is actually thanks to Lee Hoy. That loot gives them the perfect excuse to go and strike up a conversation with him. Taman thinks it is only right to split the spoils and use the meeting to their advantage. Even if he refuses to join, Taman wants to at least leave a better impression this time. He is determined to fix their relationship after how badly things went before. His plan is to win him over by handing over every single bit of the loot. So he tells his brother to call Lee Hoyal immediately. The phone rings, but our main character is way too busy dealing with his sisters. The oldest, Lee Yunhai, starts gushing over how cool his new hairstyle looks on him. The second sister, Lee Jiyun, laughs and tells him he looks like some K-pop star. Lee Yarim, the youngest, is the only one who seems genuinely spooked by how much he has changed. Even his voice is different now. Annoyed by the fuss, he offers them some tea. But they cannot stop talking about his glow-up. It is the only thing on their minds. Lee Yarim realizes he is a player now and asks if he is synchronized with his character yet. Meanwhile, the older two are just having a blast teasing him. They start bringing up old memories, even though it has been 10 long years for our hero. The sisters remember his old cringe phase when he used to call himself Granfell. And trust me, you and I are going to love seeing where this story goes. All right, you and I are watching our main character cringe while his sisters laugh at his noble greeting. He acts like a total aristocrat, but Lee Yarim isn't laughing at all. In fact, she's deeply worried about him being in danger and explains how the news terrified her. Hearing that players get hurt constantly really shook her up, especially with the latest reports. Him ignoring her calls made it way worse, so now she's giving him a serious warning. She threatens to tell their parents, since they're the only ones still in the dark here. Seeing her panic, our main character wants to apologize and put his family at ease. He's confident, but his character's prideful persona takes control of his mouth once again. He announces that the demon hunter Granfell is more than capable of handling any threat. He tells them not to worry and after some time, they finally prepare to leave. They say their goodbyes, asking him to stay in touch, while Lee Yaram gives advice. She tells him to save his cash instead of lending it, making Lee Hoyal realize something. He has zero savings, only the rewards he just earned from clearing that massive rupture. These rewards are the main income for players, handed out by the creators of Arcana. The total amount depends on how hard the challenge was and your overall contribution rate. Rumors say the Cosmo company went bankrupt, and the CEO, Raymond Shaw, pays from pocket. Full of hope, he decides it's finally time to check his bank account right now. Stick with me, because while he's checking that balance, things are heating up at the guild. Over at the Shining Guild's Korean branch, they're grilling Jessie about her connection to Lee Hoyal. Camilla insists she knows something since they took down that powerful vampire count together. But Jessie plays it cool, claiming she knows absolutely nothing about the mysterious man. Her friend tells her to talk instead of wasting time watching those weird YouTube videos. Annoyed, Jessie flares her mana and tells Camilla to stop bothering her. She has real work to do. Seeing that look, Camilla finally decides to give up. Still, she wonders why Jessie is obsessed with watching videos about Korean etiquette and customs. Right in the middle of her study session, Jessie gets a notification for her rewards. She just got paid for clearing that rift. At that exact same moment, Lee Hoyal checks. He gets his notification too, and honestly, the guy is completely floored by the amount. It's way more than he ever dreamed of. We're talking about a staggering amount of money. 110 billion won. You and I see his character is judging him. Besides that massive pile of cash, he also snagged the Vampire Count's orb as well. It's a unique rank cursed item, and he's thrilled because most players just trash these. The chance of breaking the seal is so low that nobody even bothers. But a demon hunter can use it during an exorcism ritual by offering something up. He did this with his necklace, which was the key to finally defeating the Count. He expected the necklace to break after use, but it's still sitting in his inventory. It survived the battle, and even better, that nasty curse on it was finally broken. He realizes the ritual actually purified the item, instead of just destroying the dark energy. So now he's got the orb, the necklace, and a literal mountain of cold hard cash. Even with all this good news, that giant fortune is making it impossible to sleep. He's totally lost in thought, having no clue how to even start spending that much. Buying new gear makes the most sense since he has more rifts to face soon. But then he realizes his current level might still be too low for the top-tier gear. He hit level 134 after the last mission, but he's playing it safe. And that's where we leave him, wondering what's more important than new equipment. All right, you and I are hunting rare mana items today, but first, Granfell is finally ready to log off and catch some sleep. The next day, a serious council meeting goes down at the Korean UAA. Sunbi plays the protagonist's fight footage and argues that he used alchemy to shift those massive rocks blocking the cavalry. But some skeptics don't believe alchemy can build those giant pillars, since that requires insane mana. Soon, a heated debate breaks out over whether such a feat is even possible. Sunbi groans that he's exhausted from everyone just talking about Lee Hoyal. His buddy agrees because lately, even his own family keeps asking about the same guy. Then they notice 0 records of the name Lee Hoyal exist. Is it an alias? Sunbi just hopes things finally chill out once the new update drops. Now here's where it gets wild. Watch this. A brand new update hits way faster than anyone expected. A region called the User Archipelago is about to manifest. Back when Arcana was just a game. This was Treasure Island, a mythic place no player ever actually found. Every plant and creature there was considered a priceless treasure. Now it's coming to reality, and the news is exploding. Besides the update, a reporter announces something huge. The prestigious Academic Society of Mages is finally resuming activities. It's a place for high-level mages to debate and share secrets. It's the ultimate hub for improving skills. Plus, word is out that Jessie Heine is heading to the tower right now as a special guest. Lee Hoyal notes she's ranked 4th overall. Yet, his persona just scolded her for being rude. Granfell brings up a classic saying about the Mage Tower. The tower has magic but no skills. You and I know that's a game classic. That was just flavor text back then, but now it's relevant. The society could be useful, but Granfell insists on finishing the dishes first. Talk about priorities. At the tower, everyone's gathered. We meet Clea, an experienced tower mage, who's hyped to see so many powerful mages in one place. She's dying to see the new research, especially since the head mage Morello himself is going to be speaking. Suddenly, a clumsy mage almost knocks her over. But he's the only one hurt. A magical barrier protected her. She calls him an idiot, but a voice stops her. Someone tells her to chill. It turns out the Tower Master created those barriers specifically for this big event. Jessie adds that this high-level magic is invisible to most. Seeing Jessie, Cleo's attitude flips in a total heartbeat. She starts bowing and apologizing, taking all the blame. But Jessie just waves it off. And trust me, things are about to get even more intense. Orders Cleo, the guide, to lead all the guests straight to the Hall of Crystals. Cleo reports that Jessie is actually the last one to arrive. Since everyone is here, but stick with me, Jessie wants to wait. Cleo is totally confused. But Jessie says she has a very strong feeling that a very special guest will be showing up at the tower soon. She was correct, as our main character finally decides to join the mages. Arriving at the tower, he realizes that every visit feels exactly the same. It is always crowded with people everywhere he looks, every single time. It seems everyone is trying to reach the Yusra archipelago today. To make things worse, Li Hoi is recognized and the entire crowd swarms. The main character is suddenly being treated like a total celebrity by everyone. People are begging for pictures and asking non-stop questions. In the chaos, watch this, someone grabs his bag and stops him from moving forward. This guy claims to be a fan and refuses to leave without a photo. Irritated, our main character worries about the expensive tea inside his bag. High-quality tea he bought with his own hard-earned money from before. Granfell snaps at the guy aggressively, which even shocks his companion Li Hoi. He starts to worry his reputation will be ruined if people are disappointed. However, the opposite happens since the man actually enjoys being cursed at. Either way, our main character keeps pushing his way through the massive crowd. He notices a wall in front of him that looks totally different. He decides to check it out and finds Cleo on the other side. She is startled, but he simply praises her impressive use of illusion magic. A short time later, he begins walking up the stairs with her. Cleo still has no idea who he is or why he is there. She thought everyone had arrived and is shocked by this total stranger. Noticing her discomfort, the main character asks what the big problem is. Feeling embarrassed, Cleo quickly replies that there is no problem at all. You and I know why she is confused. He has no invitation. Even so, she leads him to the meeting while lost in her thoughts. She knows the Tower Master cast this magic to hide the secret barrier. A mage without a proper invitation should never be able to see it. Worried, he asks if he will be blocked from joining for no invite. Cleo explains that anyone who can see the illusion is allowed to enter. Basically, your talent is the invite, which is why she is so impressed. He is the first person to ever pull this off in tower history. Our main character only cares about copying that magic for himself later on. But he realizes he needs to level up much more to do it. Soon he reaches the top, and Cleo welcomes him to the Crystal Hall. She explains it is a special place for knowledge and deep investigation. When Arcana became real, game non-player characters appeared in our world. The most influential among them is the newest head mage, a man named Morello. He is the successor of the tower and a truly legendary figure. He was the first to adapt and use his magic to innovate everything. And trust me, he is the one who will change the world forever. Let's dive into a story where magic meets modern science in the craziest way possible. Jessie is bored out of her mind while her magic hat drones on, which totally annoys it. She tells the hat its lecture is putting her to sleep because magic is just a skill. She knows nothing about inspection or interference. Her boredom is plain to see. Even the head mage notices and asks if his words are really that boring to her. Morello explains the tower was summoned for 2 reasons, and interference is one of them. Explorers call this an update, and these events are recurring throughout their new world. He notes humans aren't used to real magic, just like Acadians don't understand science. It's a total clash of cultures between magic users and modern explorers. So he claims that both sides need to make a serious effort to cooperate. That's why the meeting is about science. He sees it as a way to develop magic. Watch closely now. He is about to demonstrate a fusion of science and magic. But he warns everyone to be careful, because this new power is still very unpredictable. He doesn't know what kind of dangerous variables could be involved in this fusion. For that reason, Morello tells the crowd he needs everyone's help with this research. Finally, he opens the floor and invites the audience to ask their questions. Our main character immediately raises his hand and tells the mage his demonstration was flawed. He points out unnecessary elements and asks Morello what he thinks about that. The head mage is caught completely off guard, and he's not the only one. Everyone present is shocked to see someone actually questioning the legendary Morello. The head mage realizes he's looking at a stranger, but he actually considers the question. He asks the main character why he believes his teaching has unnecessary elements. The protagonist says it's simple: he can feel the friction in the air. He explains that magic and science are different concepts, and combining them creates that friction. That unnecessary friction is exactly what happens during the process of uniting the two. After explaining his theory, our main character decides to perform the same experiment. He mimics the head mage's test, claiming he felt a similar friction between skill and magic. You and I saw that too, right? Doing in seconds what took a master months. Unreal. The mage is stunned because it took him months to accomplish that same feat. Yet a complete stranger just did it perfectly after seeing it only one time. He explains that using centrifugal force in the process makes it somewhat flawed. Still, the results aren't bad at all for a first try. Lee Hoyal realizes the original ignition used way too much mana for his liking. But by using centrifugal force, he made the whole technique much more efficient. He concludes that coming to this meeting was an excellent choice. At that moment, the mage realizes this man must be the famous explorer. This is the legendary Lee Hoyal everyone has been talking about. He decides to invite him to join his research team immediately. The offer automatically triggers a special quest in the system, giving him a choice. He has to decide whether to accept the mission or walk away. A bit later, the first explorers arrive at the Yuzra archipelago feeling very excited. One girl tells Leni this really reminds her of when they first dreamed of big adventures. She even mentions she should have brought a swimsuit for the trip. But Leni insists that they are definitely not here for a simple vacation. So what do you and I take from this? The real adventure is just beginning. All right, stick with me because you and I are about to see some drama. Another member notices the massive crowd, seeing both humans and Acadians everywhere. Her friend asks about NPCs, but the member points to the Lion Heart Knights. Are those just NPCs? No, he points right at the Lion Heart Knights. Beyond them, the Shadow Mercenaries and Explorer Alliance have also arrived in force. One girl mentions that this archipelago is famous for its treasures, drawing huge crowds. Lean hates the sight, knowing more people just means way more annoying competition. Her friend notes that, at the very least, those tower mages are nowhere nearby. Suddenly, the guild leader's phone rings with an urgent update from a nearby mage. The mage screams excitedly that she finally found Lee Hoyal at the tower. Watch this, he challenged the tower leader, and things are about to explode. Leon just laughs, calling Lee Hoyal a total madman for pulling this stunt. She remembers his attitude from their last meeting. Her colleague just sighs loudly. It is clear the leader still holds a massive grudge against our main character. The tower leader actually accepts him, giving a mission that makes everyone jealous. Everyone is jealous. Meanwhile, Morello asks Lee Hoyal for a list of necessary research. He promises to provide everything required. This makes our main character very happy. Our hero is pumped. He can ask for anything and plans to exploit it. Soon, Morello is called to the top floor to meet the powerful 5-star mage. This mage calls Morello a rising star, but questions his choice of an assistant. He points out that the Tower of Mages never deals with common explorer business. By bringing Li Hoyal in, Morello has technically broken a very ancient tower rule. The noble mage demands to know exactly why Morello would take such a risk. Morello stands his ground, claiming Li Hoyal truly understands the deeper secrets of magic. You and I know why. Morello says Li Hoyal understands magic's true essence. He claims Li Hoyal bridged the gap between science and magic perfectly and naturally. Morello insists they cannot ignore someone with that level of rare, incredible potential. The High Mage reminds him that they must always judge and take responsibility. He assumes the young man knows exactly what he is doing with this human. He respects the decision, but warns Morello that the consequences are his alone. With their talk over, the noble mage dismisses him back to his regular duties. Morello leaves annoyed, hating how out of touch these higher mages are. They have no clue what is happening in the world outside their tall walls. He wonders how long the Tower Master will stay silent. Then, Cleo greets him. She is cheerful and says she is off to deliver Li Hoyal's requested items. Morello offers to do it himself. Cleo knows he is busy and tries declining. But he insists on going, saying he needs to discuss something with the explorer. He claims he was already on his way to see Li Hoyal for checks. Seeing how persistent he is, Cleo hands the gear over to him immediately. Our hero is busy studying when Morello finally arrives with the delivery. He brought the mana regeneration gear that Li Hoyal specifically asked for earlier. Morello asks if they are good, but Li Hoyal looks at them with disappointment. The equipment is high level, way too high for our main character to use. He tells the mage these items are useless. Morello quickly bows and apologizes. He apologizes for underestimating him. You and I must see what is next. Stick with me, you're about to see Li Hoyal get a serious power-up. Morello cooked up something special, a hex egg brooch, a rare item that boosts mana. After checking the stats, our main character realizes this thing is actually legit. It perfectly matches his current level and provides some insane stat boosts, so he accepts. Morello admits he knew Li Hoyal was a beast, but he's still blown away. Every time they meet, he gets more impressed. At first, Li Hoyal thinks the item looks pretty basic and cheap, but after hearing the details, his mind starts changing. This brooch is way more powerful than it looks, but then Morello hits a snag. He can't move forward with his magic research, yet because there are missing pieces. It's exactly what Li Hoyal pointed out. After hearing that, our main character nods. He's willing to wait until the time is right. Morello is genuinely grateful for that. He truly believes that together, they are going to turn the Mage Tower upside down. Meanwhile, back at the archipelago, that famous streamer High Gang TV is back in action. He is literally camping out, just waiting for Li Hoyal to make an appearance. Tons of players are flooding through the portals right now, and the hype is real. He's betting the main character will show up soon, and he refuses to budge. Suddenly, hearing that name, a dangerous new player walks up to him. This is Kinver, a guy nobody likes, and he clearly hates the spotlight Lee gets. He hates the hype. There's a group that rose up when Arcana became real. These guys are ruthless and will do absolutely anything to get what they want. Trouble follows them everywhere. Seriously, whenever they show up, something bad happens. Rumor has it that Kinver is the most cold-blooded monster of the entire bunch. Word is, players who go into rifts with this guy never come back alive. Now Kinver is targeting Li Hoyal, and everyone is starting to get really nervous. Pay attention here, because Kinver just dropped a chilling threat to the streamer. He mocks Li, calling him a clown. Before walking off, he gives a final warning. He'll be watching the stream closely. After he leaves, the chat goes absolutely ballistic. Fans are terrified, telling Li Hoyal to stay away. The streamer is totally stunned. He snaps back at the haters, defending Li's honor and his lack of greed. His actions speak louder than words, and the streamer is sure he'll show up. Cut to the main character. Granfell asks if they even have a reason to visit. Lee says no way. Even with all that hidden treasure, it's just too risky. His level is way too low for that zone. The power gap is massive. That rift needs level 350, but he is only at level 134. The monsters there are on a whole different level compared to what he usually fights. You saw that level gap, right? Going there would be total suicide. Plus, demons rarely show up there. It just doesn't make any sense to go. But then a notification pops up. He gets an exclusive quest. It's a specialized demon hunter mission to track down the legendary 7 deadly sins. He's heard of them before, but he never expected them to be hiding in Yusra. He barely survived the last fight by luck and doesn't want to push it again. Going after another high-tier enemy sounds like a total death wish at his current level. But Granfell has other plans. He says everything has changed since that quest appeared. If they were hesitating before, there's absolutely no reason to hold back anymore. If evil is lurking there, you and I know he's going to crush it. Stick with me, you're about to watch our hero dive into a tropical disaster. Granfell preps for the trip, but Lee Hoyal is totally unprepared for the heat. Meanwhile, the fan streamer is just relieved that his idol finally decided to show up. Inside, Lee Hoyal is melting, but on the outside, Granfell senses a massive evil aura. He feels a heavy influence nearby, something far beyond any normal demon he's seen. This presence is on a different level. He realizes the island itself is cursed. He keeps his natural enemy skill active. Meanwhile, the streamer records every single move. He wants to capture every moment, but our hero really isn't feeling the attention. He has other things to worry about, like finding low-level monsters to actually fight. His level is still low, but the streamer keeps following despite all the warnings. They say he's bothering Lee, but he doesn't care. He thinks everyone is wrong. Now pay attention. This is the moment things go from 0 to 100. Besides, he's convinced he's basically invisible and couldn't possibly be a nuisance to anyone. Suddenly, a noise rings out that startles even the streamer. Things are getting dangerous. Nearby, a group of players is battling enemies, but they are at a disadvantage. They're fighting a level 420 Emerald Tiger with a blinding light attack. The tiger's attacks are violently shaking the area. One player warns the group. Amidst the chaos, Lee Hoyal appears. The others recognize him and ask questions. Honestly, the main character is asking himself that same question. This wasn't the plan. Granfell wanted a scorpion warm-up, but he found this tiger first and it'll do. Because of the high level, escape is impossible. Even Granfell knows things look bad. The bright sunlight is blinding him. To fix it, he just shatters the ground. If it can't move, it can't attack. This move leaves the others totally stunned. Right in the middle of the battle, he decides to test his new magic. He unleashes Master Marcelo's ignition. The attack pulverizes the beast, leaving only dust behind. He receives his share of rewards, but his real joy comes from the magic. The sheer power of the new spell surprised him. The others are totally perplexed. They can't believe such a terrifying enemy was defeated so easily. It makes no sense. You and I just saw a level 400 beast get erased. Incredible, right? Elsewhere on the archipelago, Shrike from the Second Sun Guild is fuming with rage. He snaps at his group, complaining they're still stuck on the island's outskirts. A member suggests regrouping, saying the Shining Guild is already at the heart. They haven't advanced because they're spread out. Shrike's divide and conquer plan failed. He realizes his mistake now. He was too greedy and underestimated the territory. He won't admit he's wrong, but he orders everyone back to the starting point. Then, a guild member mentions a call from the West team for the leader. Shrike offers to meet them, but he's told they're already on their way. Now he's just confused. He demands an explanation for why they're moving without orders. The subordinate starts to explain, but Shrike's face says he's losing his patience fast. Something is definitely wrong with the teams. The tension here is through the roof. They were supposed to hold their position, so why are they rushing back now? Shrike's authority is slipping, and the news he's about to hear might be bad. Every guild member is on edge as they wait for the West team to arrive. The subordinate hesitates before speaking. Whatever happened out there has terrified the entire group. Wait for the twist. All right, you and I are about to see Li Hoyal ruin everyone's plans. The guild realizes he already cleared their route, forcing them to find a new path. Suddenly, another report comes in from their member, inside the Mage Academy Society. He says that Li Hoyal got a secret quest directly from the head mage himself. He might become the first player to own a private lab in the tower. Shrike can't believe any player could get this close to a high-level NPC. He orders his team to dig up every single detail they can find on him. It is clear now that Li Hoyal is way more dangerous than the news says. Meanwhile, our main character is busy checking out his epic rewards from the battle. He acts cold, but he's hyped about snagging a rare, unique crafting ingredient. With his new connections at the tower, finding a pro to process this loot will be easy. But then, Granfell feels the air around him getting heavy and oppressive. His sixth sense screams that something is wrong, and his system window suddenly flashes. The screen warns him he needs to investigate the 7 deadly sins right now. Watch closely, a massive earthquake suddenly rips through the entire ground. The system alerts him that greed is consuming the island and destroying everything. Every player nearby gets the same warning as the entire land starts to collapse. While everyone else is panicking, Granfell stays calm and analyzes the whole situation. He realizes the players' hunger for treasure is what actually triggered this disaster. All that mindless greed has finally woken up something truly terrifying beneath them. He concludes that this monster can only be the legendary demon of greed. To a legendary demon hunter from Ashan, identifying this beast is just basic knowledge. If that progress bar hits 100%, the deadly sins will fully awaken. He knows he has to stop this, even if the odds look impossible. He is actually relieved the system wants him to stop the event, not just fight. But he sees the Shining Guild has already cleared an island and taken the loot. Hearing other players hunting for gold, he realizes the entire archipelago is in danger. To save the island, players would have to give up their greed entirely. But you and I both know that's never going to happen here. Since nobody else will stop, he decides on a much more direct plan. He'll just take every single treasure before anyone else can even touch them. Meanwhile, the Shining Guild is already moving on to their second island. Camilla notices the destruction meter rising as they continue their treasure hunt. There are 10 islands total, and a counter started the moment they took the loot. It is a race against time to collect everything before the world falls apart. Locke thinks this competitive rush might be linked to Li Hoyal's recent actions. He asks the group if they actually think they can beat our protagonist. Data says she'd rather not pick a fight with someone that powerful. Camilla agrees, noting that their current enemies are already hard enough to handle. Plus, she knows Jessie would never agree to attack her secret crush. Locke admits he's just a bit jealous of the guy's insane growth. He decides there is no point in picking a fight for no reason. But just as they relax, another square on the destruction bar fills up. The countdown is moving faster than any of them ever expected. And trust me, you and I are about to see things get crazy. Stick with me, you are about to see this guild snatch the loot. This makes things interesting. Locke is worried about being left far behind. He says they have to move immediately. Meanwhile, back with our main character. Li Hoyal asks his persona what he means by taking all the treasures. Granfell replies that greed will destroy everything. We have to stop them. The only way is to take the treasures from those greedy hands. Right after that, they find a group with some very legendary-looking armor. He realizes these warriors are the famous Knights of the Lion Heart. Our hero didn't expect to find the Empire's best knights in Arcana. Granfell greets their leader, the polite Captain Harkin of the King's Guard. Harkin asks for his name, and he introduces himself as Li Hoyal. He says he never expected to see Imperial Knights in this place. Harkin senses a totally different aura from the protagonist compared to others. But above everything else, one specific item catches the captain's sharp eye. It is the brooch, Before they can talk, a sudden attack strikes them. The blast nearly hits our hero. Everyone is confused about what happened. One of the knights guesses that a meteor just fell from the sky. Now watch this. It is the island's owner, a giant golden-fanged turtle. It is level 450. The captain orders his men to battle. They see the enemy attacking, and the captain shouts for everyone to scatter. The turtle's power is immense. The knight's vision becomes totally obscured by dust. They cannot get close to the target because of its massive size. In the chaos, the captain grows worried as he sees Enoch trapped. His right-hand man is about to be crushed. He yells for him. Desperate, the captain screams for his ally to get out of there. The turtle stomps the ground, and the impact hits every single person. You feel that, just as the smoke clears, he sees Hoyal saved him. Lee Hoyal created a wall of light, which confuses the other knights. He says there is no time to talk since the enemy is standing. The turtle prepares to strike again, and the captain orders the defense. Meanwhile, the protagonist realizes he needs to be careful with his mana. He does not want to run out of power during this fight. Harken King's guard gets his attention and thanks him for the help. He makes a promise: if he fights until the end, they will owe him. The Knights of Lionheart swear to return the favor one day. This was the exact help our hero needed, so he accepts immediately. He concludes that by helping each other, they can defeat the monster. From a distance, an obsessed streamer records this entire epic scene. He is satisfied with the footage. The chat warns him about the danger. They tell him he is too close, but he says he is safe. He promises his viewers he is staying away from the monster's reach. Meanwhile, the leader of the Knights orders his army to advance bravely. As the army attacks the front lines, our hero analyzes the situation. He concludes the head is the weak point, but hard to reach. Trust me, you and I are about to see him target the legs. All right, you and I are watching Enoch stare at our legend in fear. Although he's grateful, Enoch thinks this level of loyalty is a bit much. Swearing an oath to an explorer is an honor meant for the royals. Watching the Knights, Lee Hoyal initially thinks their strength is quite underwhelming. But he soon realizes the truth. This beast is on another power level. The monster is incredibly strong, and these Knights aren't dealing any damage. Since they are all melee fighters, the front line is a massive bottleneck. Only a few can strike, while everyone else just waits for a turn. Our main character understands that if this continues, they will surely lose. The situation is looking grim, and then things go from bad to worse. Now pay attention here. The system alert shows the island is halfway gone. Other players are moving faster than expected. The final catastrophe is approaching fast. While he tries to find an opening, the monster gets absolutely, terrifyingly angry. An earthquake rips the ground apart, and magma starts erupting from the cracks. The Knights try to retreat, but there is almost zero solid ground left. Amidst the total chaos, Lee Hoyal finally comes up with a brilliant idea. He remembers the Mage Tower and asks the captain if he's ready. He declares he will open the way. Then, he gathers the surrounding rocks. He creates a massive staircase leading straight up to the boss's giant head. This epic feat leaves everyone stunned. The commander and knights are speechless. Even the streamers watching from afar can't believe what they are seeing. The group's mage remarks that only tower masters could perform such magic. Enoch is in disbelief. How could a mere explorer wield such insane power? His doubts grow deeper as he questions our main character's true hidden nature. The Lionheart leader shouts that the path is open. They must advance now. This is their only chance. They can't waste a single second of this. Striking the beast's weak spot, they finally start dealing some massive, heavy damage. During the battle, a system notification pops up in front of the protagonist. Captain Harkin and the Knights have forfeited all credit for this monster kill. He gets all the points, but why would they make such a decision? You and I both know that this level of respect is truly rare. After the victory, Harkin approaches the hero with a look of pure gratitude. He recognizes the brooch. It was a gift from the Emperor long ago. Harkin explains that Lee Hoyal saved countless lives today with his selfless actions. They are eternally grateful, and offer to fight beside him whenever he desires. Right after their conversation, a mysterious orb of energy appears on the scene. It's the island's ultimate treasure. Our hero hesitates on whether to take it. He fears his own greed, but another player might steal the item away. The destruction level is past 50%. He needs to think fast now. Suddenly, his character Granfell takes charge and grabs the treasure without any hesitation. Defying the player's choice, Granfell acts on his own. Wealth is nothing here. As a noble successor, he has already seen the absolute peak of fortune. Granfell thinks differently and grabs the item without a single second of delay. He defies the protagonist's decision. To him, worldly wealth means absolutely nothing. Stick with me, you're about to see how a true aristocrat plays the game. All right, you and I are watching a man who literally has zero greed. Granfell thinks he has found the ultimate trick to save the entire island. By taking treasure without wanting it, the destruction timer won't even move. Watching this, Lee Hoyle faces his own desires and wonders if it's truly possible. But wait, from the shadows, an enemy is watching his every move. Kinver is lurking nearby, tracking Lee Hoyle and the Lionheart Knights. He is fine with Hoyle collecting loot for now, but pay attention here. Because Kinver is just waiting for the perfect moment to strike him down. Suddenly, one of Kinver's half-dead victims tries to crawl away and speak. He warns that the Shrike of Second Son will hunt Kinver to hell. Kinver ends him right then and there, adding another body to his list. Now watch this part, because this killer thinks he is absolutely untouchable now. Back with our main character, a certain obsessed streamer is losing her mind. She sees Lee Hoyle grabbing loot, without the greed bar moving an inch. But when he actually looks at the prize, Lee Hoyle is totally let down. He expected an epic hoard, but all he got was a single broken crown. Honestly, he's starting to feel like the game is playing a massive prank. Just then, a system alert pops up. The Lionheart Knights have joined him. Their captain, Harkin Kingsguard, swears an oath to follow our hero. He is fulfilling a promise that Lee Hoyle hadn't even taken seriously until now. Suddenly, he realizes he doesn't just have a captain, but an entire army. Harkin admits he doesn't know the goal, but he'll be Hoyle's ultimate weapon. He will serve as both shield and sword across this entire dangerous archipelago. Our protagonist is hyped, realizing he just recruited the world's best knights. With these legends at his back, no monster stands a single chance anymore. He welcomes them to the team, feeling a lot more confident about everything. Now let's check back on Kinver, who is still spying from the trees. His ally is confused why the island's destruction timer hasn't started yet. Kinver just laughs it off, claiming everything is going exactly to his plan. He has already set up a lethal surprise for Lee Hoyle at the docks. The second they step onto a boat to escape, a deadly toxin will hit. He's certain that even the strongest knights can't survive this invisible trap. The treasure won't matter once they're all dead. But then, Lee Hoyle looks directly up into the branches, making Kinver nearly collapse. The bloodlust in that gaze is so intense, the killer is frozen in fear. He thinks his cover is blown, but Lee Hoyle was actually just looking at an animal. He was just distracted by a critter that caught his eye. However, Harkin senses the real danger and warns him about a hidden watcher. This sends Kinver into a total panic as he tries to stay hidden. Hoyle tries to spot the threat, but all he sees is a little squirrel. Confused, he looks away just as a new system alert flashes before him. Only 2 treasures are left before the entire archipelago is completely destroyed. Since he grabbed one safely, there is only one left for anyone to find. He knows he has to move fast and beat the others to that item. Stick with me, we're about to see who wins this race for survival. All right, you and I are about to witness Lee Hoyle's terrifying influence. Harkin Kingsguard vows to do whatever the main character wishes for now. In total shock, Kaver is so terrified he cannot even speak to his allies. He thinks the guard wanted him captured, but Lee Hoyle just moves along. In his mind, he wonders if Lee Hoyle let him go out of pity. Regardless, he realizes he almost died and decides to quit the mission immediately. He warns his team to stay away from Lee Hoyle if they want to live. Kinver's ally, Park Hun-jun, is absolutely outraged by this sudden news. He doesn't get the change in behavior and complains Kinver hung up. He is beyond furious after borrowing money for the poison Kinver asked for. Now he is stuck with the bill while Kinver just decides to back out. When his men try to calm him, Park Hyunjin snaps at them. It is easy for them to stay calm when it is not their money. Now watch carefully, because greed is starting to tear this entire group apart. He suspects his men conspired with Kaver to steal his money. Ignoring their denials, Park Hyunjin demands to know their secret profit. The loud commotion startles the birds and catches our protagonist's attention. The captain asks if something is wrong, but Lee Hoi isn't sure. Suddenly, he receives a danger notification far more intense than the previous one. It indicates a massive threat level, and his hunter instincts are screaming. He knows something incredibly dangerous is lurking nearby, ready to strike. Meanwhile, Park Hyunjin finally snaps and starts attacking his own allies. His men knew he was always money hungry, but never thought he'd go crazy. He screams that they took money to betray him and side with Kinver. You saw that too. Look closely, someone is watching them. A hidden streamer captures every single moment of the betrayal on live video. He films Park Hyunjin claiming he's just taking back what they stole. Terrified, the streamer runs as far away as he possibly can. He realizes the Supernova Guild is insane, and those murder rumors are true. Fearing he's next, he tries to sneak away before he is seen. In his rush, he slams right into another player on the path. It is the Explorers Alliance, and they ask if a monster is chasing him. The streamer finally feels like he's safe now. He thinks not even a guy who kills teammates for money could fight a guild alone. So, he decides to stick with the group to feel more secure. Drones begin flying over the area as the next stage is announced. The land is split into 10 islands, each hiding its own treasure. Every island has a different way to find loot, easy or hard. The Shining and Explorers Alliance guilds have already grabbed their treasures. Trust me, you're going to want to see this final island showdown. The Shining Guild arrives first, already carrying 2 massive prizes with them. The Korean guild Gaeon also got a treasure and wants a second. They're searching for more, while other guilds are closing in fast. Also joining is Inazuma, who barely missed out when Jin beat them. Those second rivals. All right, you and I are about to see the craziest final island showdown yet. Everyone is waiting to see who grabs the last treasure for themselves. Streamers cover the event, but something happens that shocks the entire world. The Knights of Lionheart have arrived. Nobody expected the Empire's strongest here. They are hunting treasures too, and their leader is on another level. Captain Harkin Kingsguard is level 600 plus. That is pure insanity. For lower guilds, it is desperate, but the surprises are not over. From among the knights, Lee Hoyle steps forward. Our hero is back. He is the center of attention again, looking cool and in control. That is what they see, but inside, he is absolutely terrified right now. He knew he would draw eyes, but the pressure is not any easier. Some players see a threat, others, the smart ones, know to avoid him. His biggest fear is being outed as a beginner. It would ruin everything. The powerful image the media created would shatter if the truth ever came out. That would shatter the powerful warrior image the media built for him.